We just got new hands.
Welcome back to Nerd News Breakdown. This is the show here on SourceFedNERD where we take the biggest stories from the weekend and we break them down. Get it? Today on the Nerd News Breakdown panel, we have Miss Whitney Moore. A little clap from Zach.
Hello. Thank you, Zach.
Wow, thunderous.
Enthusiasm, Mr. Philip Molina. Thanks.
Oh, God.
And Sam Basher.
Yeah. Oh, yours was the loudest.
That was like pulling teeth. Anyways, today, as you can probably guess from the title of this video, we will be discussing the biggest stories to come out of this year's New York Comic Con.
For Nick.
Exciting.
Nick. I've never been to New York Comic Con, have you guys?
No, I'd
wanna
love
go
to
so
though.
bad.
Should be a lot
I've never
of fun.
been to New York. Wow.
Next year.
New York, it's in New York. You go to New York in New York.
No,
And then
don't
we,
stop it.
We didn't. No, go ahead, keep going. You had a whole song there.
You
What
guys
are we
know
talking
it.
about? There was a surprising amount of big announcements from multiple studios, but today, what are you going to focus on?
Oh, I'm going to focus on the new Power Rangers trailer that dropped instead of all the cool comic books that came out. Because you guys don't want to talk about comic books. Nobody ever does.
They'll prove you wrong now in the comments. Now let's say we want it. I'm going to talk about that Iron Fist trailer. You guys saw it and loved it, and I liked it a lot. There's also some clips that Marvel gifted onto us, so we'll be chatting about that.
But first, I'm going to open up the discussion with the biggest announcement to come out of the Defenders Corner of New York Comic Con, that Sigourney Weaver will be joining the season as the big bad. We'll be taking on Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
Jessica from People Be Like.
Jessica. Cut you a clip. No, I don't have any clips. But to sum it up, during New York Comic Con, all four of the Defenders came on stage. That's the first time they've done it together. It was so freaking cool. But to add on top of that, Jeff Loeb, big boy, he's in charge of Marvel TV. Big boy.
Real big boy.
He came out and he announced that the Queen of Sci-Fi herself, Sigourney Weaver, will be taking on all four heroes
So
next
pumped.
year.
Yeah.
And the crowd just
Lost it, yeah.
just screamed. They were puking, there were tears, there was blood. It was amazing.
Yeah,
But here's the
real
question.
sad.
Here's my question.
Uh-huh.
Who's she gonna play? Thank you for asking, Whitney. That's actually my question for you guys. Who do you think Sigourney Weaver is gonna be playing in the Defenders? Because there's literally no hint at all.
I
who
would
she's gonna
argue
be.
there is a hint if you want to read really into what she's wearing.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. But I actually asked you guys on Twitter who you thought was going to be cast. So to kick it off really quick, I just wanted to say I would like it to be someone who is tied to one of the heroes' origins. But I feel like because of how they set it up in Daredevil Season 2 and that the Daredevil Season 2 showrunners will be in charge of Defenders, it'll probably be the Hand. But personally, I think it would be fun if it was someone who's in charge of the IGH, which is the company who made those little red pills for Simpson and Jessica Jones that made him go crazy and super strong and whatnot. And
Love that guy.
they're tied to Jessica's powers and possibly Luke Cage's powers and Kilgrave's powers.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a real interesting payoff in that they have been dropping hints for a while, and I remember thinking a lot damn, in Jessica Jones it felt like, oh, that's gonna be huge, and it kind of didn't show up. So it would be nice if it was all building toward that. That said, I feel like that it's not immediately such a huge threat that they would need to come together for, unless she's making an army.
Ooh.
Which would be a pretty interesting
What
plot.
if you saw she's those pills become a street drug and people start taking them and now that in each corner of New York these heroes are having to take on people who are super fucking strong,
Yeah,
super
that'd be
crazy
cool.
strong, and at the end she takes 10 of them and she can take on
and you remember
all
that
of
that Trish Jessica Jones nuke fight where they do take it and
Yeah. God, that was such a cool.
that was an awesome fight.
she can't
Man.
breathe or whatever.
Well, it kills you. It kills you to take it. That's
It ruins your psyche. But
Yeah.
fun little bonus part of this episode, we actually asked our friend DJ
Whoa!
over here to join us.
And he took the pills.
You're so strong.
DJ, on our
wow.
podcast, Only Stupid Answers, we
Yes.
discussed this a little handshake. Let's do a little handshake all the way around.
Man, you got heavy arms. You just put
I
on
know,
the
I
table.
just, I'm gonna pull the
Wow.
thing out.
God.
We discussed who we thought she might be, and you had some really fun predictions, and we actually have a graphic for your person.
Yes.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Ophelia Sarkeesian, I believe is how her name is pronounced.
And what's that?
She is also known as Madam Hydra, a wink, and Viper, who we briefly saw characters similar to her in The Wolverine, but she was very different in that movie.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah,
With the skin.
I firmly believe that the hand is going to be the enemy. If you saw the Defenders teaser, there's a giant hand over the Defenders logo.
It seems pretty.
And also, they've hinted that Iron Fist's big enemy will also be the Hand. Take that what you will. So I was looking at characters that have a connection to them, and she being a big part of Hydra is also connected to the Hand. And so if you're going to hire somebody as big as Sigourney Weaver, that maybe she could have ties to the movies as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're a little Hydra'd out. We've had a lot of Hydra on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff.
It's not on
but-
Netflix at all.
Yeah,
though.
none on Netflix.
But we did get it in like
So-
3 Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we before we move on, can we get even closer with our faces? Something
Yes.
about when DJ came in, we all suddenly were like,
So,
It's like
so
a campfire
did we get to
story.
kiss?
Also, a fan tweeted me Monica Rappaccini as a possibility, who's an AIM scientist.
Oh.
Didn't we get a little bit of AIM in Iron Man 3?
That's
Didn't
who.
they?
That's who
yeah.
it's supposed to be the big bad, but that didn't really pay off.
Pay off. So anyway, those are that's me.
No, I like your guess. Like even though like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're all gonna talk about our own thing, like I think that'd be
And it
totally
could
I'd
solid.
still
watch the hell out
it
of
could
that.
still apply to her making the drugs and having that deal with the Hand. I don't know how they're going to connect all that, although they could be saving that for Jessica Jones season 2.
Ooh, confirmed by DJ.
Hey. Well, DJ, thank you so much.
You're
And she
welcome.
also
Little
wears
fan
green.
cast.
You're welcome.
That's the
Well, handshake, guys.
Bring
Handshake DJ in the comments down below.
yeah.
Whoa,
Whoa! Now
he
can we get our
disappeared.
disgusting faces away from each other?
Yes, mine smells like coffee breath. But guys, who are you thinking for the Defenders? Who do you think Sigourney Weaver's going to be?
I would like to see, I don't know how likely this is, but I would like to see her, words on a Monday, as Typhoid Mary. She's such a cool character.
Yeah.
She is with the Hand. She's worked with the Hand, and she's also, Sigourney Weaver is such an amazing actress. I want her to be used to her full potential. Typhoid Mary is a cool character. She's got telekinesis. She can light shit on fire with her brain. Also has a bit of a romantic connection to Daredevil.
Okay, I was about to
so-
ask because I've seen a lot of, like, a little bit of research. I saw
Yeah.
she has, like, a tie
At this
to
point,
him.
Yeah.
Sam has a romantic connection to
Who
Daredevil.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see her. Also, red hair. I'd like to see
Red
her
hair, don't
go,
care.
Her go a little crazy. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if Typhoid Mary is in the same age range as Sigourney, but honestly, who cares?
I
They
think
can
she
make it,
played
yeah.
like I think they actually that's something interesting is they change the ages on the shows all the time.
Yeah.
Like they age
doesn't matter.
they age everyone into TV friendly. Basically,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
either up or down. It's like just
Like on Flash,
attractive.
they took Jay Garrick, who's normally an old man, like super old, and then they took like the sexy version of him, and by the end of it, they're like, it didn't pay off. Here's the old guy, and everyone's like, yeah, the old man. But what did Typhoid? She can telekinesis,
and then-
pyrokinesis.
yeah, both
Did-
of those things. And then she's also deeply, deeply mentally ill.
Cool.
So she's got Typhoid
Riddled
Mary.
with-
Her
with
Mary side is like her like
disease.
conservative and like sweet, and then she's got Typhoid Mary, which is like kind of like fucking crazy.
Oh, like
and
a
then
split
Bloody Mary.
personality?
Yeah, yeah. And then the Bloody Mary is obviously the ultra violent version of herself. So I would love to see that. I think that Sigourney definitely has the chops to do something
for
like
sure.
that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd be a fan. What about you?
What did you say again?
I said the head of IGH.
Oh right. Okay. I don't know if this is my real guess. I actually like am feeling what DJ was saying, but I do want to connect back to it still potentially being Mephisto.
Ooh.
That's
yeah.
who everyone was kind of hoping for the Defenders, and I'm real easy to please. Like the more epic in scale, whenever there's like a team up, I get like a rush of endorphins. Whenever it's like they came together because they had to, or whatever, and like so it needs to be pretty epic for me. And like that is a pretty legit. That's a demon that you can do anything. Like that's a worthy villain for me.
There is no Sigourney, only Mephisto.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking about making that joke, and I was like,
She
people are too young.
No way.
But I mean, there's been a whole nother reboot of that. And
They said Zool in
they
that.
did at the end. Spoilers, but but Mephisto is not normally associated as a woman. The thing is, it's like who cares?
It's a
like
demon.
demons, exactly.
Yeah.
Like don't have like an existing gender. This isn't Bruce Wayne we're talking about. It's talking about a demon, and specifically one that shapeshifts, right? So it could easily be a
Oh, yeah,
woman.
I didn't think Mephisto had a jet. I
It
mean, like
is
they
kind
call
of
him a
like-
guy usually,
yeah.
but yeah, it's a demon.
But if you think about it, actually, it's so rare for any demon to be interpreted as a woman for no reason.
Whoa,
That's just
have
been
you
an
ever
established
seen the
thing.
movie Bedazzled
I
starring
just thought
Brendan
that
Fraser?
movie-
That's
I just
the
saw that
devil,
movie.
not David.
True.
That's the head of the whole thing.
She's-
That's Elizabeth Hurley, who rest in peace
Yes.
for her career. But I really like the idea of it being Mephisto, not just because of like just scary, honestly, and like worthy, but because of the way that she would play a different role with every single one of them.
Yeah.
And specifically, I'd be really interested to see her with Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones is really still susceptible to like her mind being messed with, and Mephisto definitely can do illusions and like.
Oh, and it could bring Kilgrave if you wanted to.
Oh.
With like a
Kilgrave
thing.
come back.
I'm in.
Exactly.
Also
I'm
with
in.
Typhoid,
Yeah.
like they could maybe, if she's got mind powers, you could have her maybe add like telepathy in there so that she could like pull Professor X and like put an
Yeah.
illusion on them as well. That could be really cool.
Oh shit!
And then you
I'm,
make them
like,
fight each other.
Either way, I'm so down for it to have it be like a mystical element and not like the head of a company. I would love.
Spooky.
Yeah. I want it to be magic.
You're just scared of a regular job.
Yeah. Oh, get away from me. You know what I mean? But these are fun fan casts. I reached out to you guys asking, and actually I pulled an asset for one of my favorites, Terry Fournier. He said maybe Ruby Tuesday of the villainous team of
Ruby
the Headman. Thursday, my bad, or Tuesday. I can't remember. I think it's Ruby Tuesday. But she has this red ball for a head. She was like a model. They wanted to get her body perfect, and so she gets this like orb attached to her head, and it like can morph into like anything, like even weapons, and like she can just bang her head at you and like attack people with it. I think that'd be really fun. But also we have a couple other ones. Not Bird Person at Mr. Nick
Solid
TKH.
guess.
Beast of the Hand, I guess. And it's like a demon that the hand worships that could
Right.
like, in the comics, I think takes over Daredevil. And like Iron Fist punches the demon out of him. With
With the chi. And that's
Punch
actually a
the
solid
demon out
guess
of you.
because of the hand connection in this. Yeah.
Fo Huang says at Fo 2099, Ellen Ripley. That would be a pretty good one.
The most likely.
But my favorite was from Derek Foltz. At Derek Foltz says the Punisher, because I would really like to see Sigourney play the Punisher.
And we've never
would
seen
love
that
that.
character.
I know, right?
In any way.
She could really handle her own series alone. I think she'd do great.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
But that's our fan cast for the Defenders, Sigourney Weaver. Let us know who you think she will play in the comments down below. But let's now move over to Iron Fist.
Cool. So you guys saw the Iron Fist trailer. You
Yum.
talked it to death with your friends potentially over the weekend, and we kind of already talked it to death. So I'm just gonna point out some stuff about it that is worth just diving into just a little bit more. First up, we see that Danny Rand is doing some meditating right up top,
Yeah.
and that's a nice introduction to the thing that people are still kind of cringing about, the potential cultural appropriation on this show.
That's the problem, though. His whole story
is that.
Yeah.
It is that. Like, that's the thing. And
Yeah.
people are, for some, as far as I can tell, I could probably go in deeper and find problems with people having problems with this, but overall, people are fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
are
It's,
fine.
well, no. People are fine. The media would love to
Dude,
it
yeah,
not be
it's,
okay.
To pull it,
it's
like-
internet outrage.
Yeah.
That's all
Right.
it is. Don't
But
spend too
the
much
thing
time
is,
thinking about
then it colors the way people watch stuff. No pun intended. But then
Hmm.
they now are like, oh yeah, he goes to the east and he's a white guy and he's the best one. It's like, yeah, I hope you didn't like read the original story then, because you also would hate that story. Also, do you ever see Karate Kid? Like,
Yeah.
that's a story sometimes, and unfortunately, this is not the place to go for not having a white person succeed.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like that's what the story
there
is.
If
could
there's
be
one
a
thing we don't
story.
get enough of in stories, it's white guys succeeding.
yeah.
That's what we need.
A
Sometimes that is
good-looking
the story.
white guy
Like,
is
hot white
succeeding.
dude doing
Yeah.
great. We need
How
it in
dare
every
he,
story.
So-
with his superpowers? How is he gonna make
I'm a
it?
huge proponent of alternate stories being promoted, that just to show diversity or whatever. I don't need them to go back and make Iron Fist like Asian. So like, what would they have done? Is that what they?
I don't know.
Like,
There's a chance they could have told a really cool story with it, but I'm okay with Danny.
Yeah. So some other stuff to point out about the trailer. It's narrated by Lei Kung, who's the man who trained Danny Rand. I think he sounds a lot like Morpheus in the trailer. And then we get glimpses of flashbacks, and that's actually what I'm really excited about for that reason, where call it cultural appropriation, where it's like, oh, white guy goes to the Far East and is the best they have. But it's cool to see the Far East in these shows. So we probably are going to see it as flashbacks. Hopefully there'll be a lot of screen time devoted to it instead of how it's real quick flashbacks on the other Netflix shows. But this place is really grand. It's Kunlun. It's
It's a mystical other dimension
yeah.
world with dragons and stuff.
It's like the kind of thing that like is going to get explored a little bit in Doctor Strange, of this kind of like dimension hopping almost kind of stuff. Where if I remember correctly, it's a city that only appears once every like 30 years or 60 years
Yeah.
or something.
Oh,
That's why
that's
Danny
awesome.
stumbles upon it by accident when he's a kid. I don't want to go into those origins because you watch the show, but basically it's an accident accident that he even like, goes there. Yeah.
Right. So on here it'll be. It looks pretty obvious that it's a plane crash. But still, either way, we rarely leave New York in the Netflix shows, so it's fun to just go to like somewhere real far from, like as far from New York as possible, and just tell a decent part of the story there. Like nowhere did we say Netflix had to be just the New York story.
Yeah.
They
Right?
just like those because there's a lot of characters from that area.
It's a lot cheaper to just shoot where you are. And then I noted that I thought Whitney would like in his origin. It just sounds like the most metal description of like a origin guy. It's like he has to take on a dragon and then dip his fist in fire.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's like pretty solid. I don't know if we'll see it exactly like that, but I hope we do.
Me too.
That is very metal.
So
you're right.
so I'm really hoping that we get a decent amount of that. We also get some quick glimpses at Joy Meacham. She's a childhood friend. It's not the most original story. I actually don't want to like spoil it too much, but if you've seen, anytime you see Bruce Wayne come back from the East as well, and then see what happens with Wayne Court, same thing, but with Rand Industries. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But we see Jessica Henwick. She's the actress that you might know from Game of Thrones, one of the Sand Snakes. Do not hold that against her. You guys don't watch. Shut up.
I can giggle along with it. That's my best skill.
You guys feel the same way about the Sand. Every character that people that watch Game of Thrones probably feel about the Sand Snakes. So it's like, meh, it's a little.
I
little
just
bit
love
much.
to laugh.
Oh, you should get a tattoo that says that. It'd be real original. But she's playing Colleen Wing, who is basically not real powers actually, except for like samurai,
fighter.
like mental abilities of focusing your chi, that kind of stuff. Which if you can focus your chi, by the way, you have powers. Like just so you know, my uncle practices Tai Chi, so I'm sure he can. Danny
superpowers.
is tied to her because he helps her out in a real cool way that I hope they do on the show. I won't spoil. And she gets real tight though, and I think you'll get excited about this with Misty Knight. You love Misty Knight.
Oh, she was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I do
I think
know.
she's the best part of that show.
Oh, because it's like we have a whole
She's
we have
great.
like 2 Luke Cage videos which you can go watch like so I can gush over Misty Knight. But also I know that she's supposed to appear in The Defenders, Misty Knight, and for at least one episode in Iron Fist. So
Right. And so
excited.
Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, after Civil War in the comics, they form a new version of the Heroes for Hire. And we all know that Danny Rand and Luke Cage are the most famous members of that. So it's like, is that going to be their end to that? Are these two going to hook up and do a little business enterprise and those two will join? Either way, my question is, are they going to do season 2s of Iron Fist and Luke Cage, or are they just going to do Heroes for Hire?
I don't know.
I think Heroes for Hire.
I kind of would prefer that. I think it's a
Heroes for
really
Hire.
interesting thing where it's like, instead of like how on CW there's like the crossover episode, it's like, what if we do a crossover season?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Just
that's
devoted to a story.
we if you should ask DJ about his like pitch for like how to handle the CW show so they're not all 22 episodes. It's more like
don't need to
the
be.
first like winter is like you get Flash and Arrow, and then the second half of the year you get like Legends of Tomorrow where they all come together into a big epic show. But we'll never get that. But I like your
But
idea.
it could
for that.
it
It's a
could
good
happen
pitch.
for Netflix. They do unusual things. And then just real quick, we see Madame Gao there, and that's really exciting because that means they really are interweaving back into that continuity that we got from Daredevil season 1 that was spilling through all the other shows. And Luke Cage didn't really touch it. It just went to Claire Temple. That was its connection to the Netflix MCU.
But also, really quick fun note: in Daredevil season 1, Madame Gao was like peddling drugs and like
and they
producing
were.
it, and they had the little symbol that is the tattoo on
Well, it
Danny's
was Steel
chest.
Serpent.
Oh, Steel Serpents.
yeah.
It was on the package of like cocaine or meth or something, whatever they were selling.
Oh, wow.
And
Heroin.
she had heroin. Excuse me. And also, she like showed some kind of power.
Yeah.
She
So
punched Daredevil across the room.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I
the
forgot
old,
about that.
here's
Yeah,
a Asian woman.
yeah.
Well, yeah, what's really cool is I think they're actually going to do a lot of villains.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't think she's going to be the primary villain there either. So that kind of feels more true to the comics too for me. It's like, okay, we've tried now 2.5 kind of season-long arcs with like a single villain, which is very cool. But also, like, let's see what Netflix's version of kind of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something is, where it's like not Freak of the Week thing, but maybe like 4 villains that have to be put out or
You
get
kind
together
of
at
get
the
that in
end.
Daredevil season 1, but it would be fun to see that in Iron Fist.
So,
But yeah.
oh, you're right. You're right. But I still remember it as the Kingpin season.
True.
Other real quick things about the trailer. We do see the Iron Fist's power for a
Look,
second.
we have like a
against-
little clip of it like lighting up and everything. It's so cool.
and it punches through a door, and I was like, oh,
It's a cool fist.
it's a cool fist. Yeah,
fist.
yeah,
Cool
yeah.
fist.
Hey, bro, cool fist.
fist.
But I do wish it had been into a person. I just was more curious about what that
sure you'll
does into a
get
door.
that.
Yeah, it's just like we've seen a lot of door busting on these shows. Jessica Jones does it, Luke Cage does it, whatever. And we get our very Netflix tried and true hallway fight scene.
Yes.
I'm at this point. I think every single one of these shows is gonna every season have a new hallway fight scene,
got
and
it.
I don't care. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It's
I
so
want
cool.
Only hallway fight scene. Watch Old Boy if you want. Anyway, so I'm most pumped though for the fight scenes of this show because it's supposed to be Daredevil has great fight scenes. It's supposed to be that times 10.
Yeah, because Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, they're both not fighters.
They're just like brutes.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're really strong, so
They're
they can
tough.
just throw you around, really.
Yeah. So it should be good choreography. We'll see if we get the costume. We don't have a glimpse of the Iron Fist costume yet. I think people will hate it when it comes out eventually. I think it'll be at the end of the season, and they'll be like, "What?" Because it's a hard one to translate. It kind of looks like Luke Cage's
Open
blouse
shirt,
that he was
yeah.
wearing. a little
And
bit there.
Daredevil, like season 1 with the black mask.
Well, that was
Yeah.
freaking cool, but a yellow one is not as
We'll see.
smart.
It's not
for
as
a hero
it's
to
not so
do.
sneaky.
Yeah, and then just the last thing of the trailer, it closes with that shot of nipples. But between the nips, which is my biography, is the Danny Rand Iron Fist tattoo, the dragon symbol, and we don't love it. We were
It
talking
looks
about
so
it.
fake.
And it's like tough to do tattoos well when they're fake because like I was saying this earlier, I think like there's the damage to the skin and it gets like raised and
I just
kind
had
of
an idea,
weird.
off topic, but for your autobiography, it's Philip Molina, enter the nips, and it's on the cover, you're doing like a pose in like a thing. Anyways, continue.
Between the nips.
I like Between the Nips, but Enter the Nips is also, I mean, Iron Fist could be Enter
Well,
the
Enter the
Nips.
Nip would be the first of the Between the Nips trilogy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enter the Nip. And Between the Nips, it's about my heart. Get it? All right. Cool. So my question for you guys at home and you guys up here, I'm excited for it, but do you guys think the show's going to bring something new or different to the MCU? We've got more of the Hand, which we've had plenty of. We're going to have a lot of mystical stuff in Doctor Strange. Do you think there'll be a new element that is only unique to this show?
Yes.
What?
Dragons.
Dragons?
Because
We don't know have it confirmed, but if they do it, yeah.
Yeah, no, okay. With Kunlun, it's always like it's another dimension. It's just something that lines up with the planets, and it creates like a portal to this other world. Please do that. Don't have it like a hidden society that no one can find, kind of like
Yeah.
a Bermuda Triangle type thing. Don't do that. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Do the full story. Have them go to like another world, make it fun, and then you have dragons in there. That way, it's not like dragons are flying around in like
our
with
normal-
yeah, like
yeah.
normal everyday life. But it's like if you've got Thor with the gods and everything,
gotta-
give us a
A
dragon.
dragon.
I
one
too am
dragon would be great.
hoping they lean real hard into the fantasy aspect.
Well, you guys like nailed it there. If they have fantasy elements in this, that would feel very new to the show, and it would set it apart from Daredevil. And I think that'd be awesome. I just could totally see them be like. Either like, oh, this guy's name is Dragon, or like, hello, I am DRGON bot, and it's like, damn it, they like went for the cheaper version.
Or they call it
something.
like, because you said like he puts his fist in like a thing of fire to get the Iron Fist. It's like it also comes from him fighting head to head with the
Right.
dragon, and it's
Its
like
heart
yeah, it's his
between
heart
its nips.
Yeah, between the nips, exactly.
Yeah.
But if they don't do that, they would call like the cauldron like the dragon, the heart of the dragon. And it's like
Right.
symbolic of something, and like
No,
and it's like,
don't
no,
make
no,
it
no.
a fucking metaphor.
No, just make it
Yeah.
Make a
literally.
dragon.
No
Make it a
metaphors
dragon.
in our shows.
No, we want literal dragons. Don't make it his demon he's fighting.
No.
Don't just let him be fun and let him punch a dragon's heart out.
Cool. Well, you guys let us know if there's anything else aside from these fantasy elements that you think will be the first new thing that only is in that show. But otherwise,
I think that's pretty good. Last story of the day
Yeah.
from Whitney.
That's me. That's mine.
That's me.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about that new Power Rangers trailer that dropped at
gonna be
Comic-Con. Initially, I was super excited for this movie because I love Elizabeth Banks. I think that she's such a talent
you
and
kind of
she's
look
so
like
funny.
her. Just gonna put that out
Whoa!
there. You kinda look
Hi,
like her.
thank you for that compliment. And Rita Repulsa, it sounds like it could be funny and wacky and weird and cool, but this trailer was like significantly grittier and more dramatic than I imagined.
For Power
For
Rangers?
Power Rangers.
Yeah, like you really have to
Yeah.
think about it. It's
Yeah.
like the Power
For
Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely got some Chronicle vibes in there because it's
Yeah.
like a bunch of teenagers that are sort of outcasts. They find a thing that gives them powers, and
Little
it's
Breakfast Clubby kind of
yeah,
too.
yeah. That the trailer is pretty much just about them finding their powers and getting them, which is not canon for this story for Power Rangers. They didn't have
Well, they do
powers.
this thing where they get like quasi recruited, and then it's more that they're able to access like the Power Ranger technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
then
don't have superpowers.
Well,
though.
they have karate
Yeah, they-
Yeah.
exactly, which is
And,
a superpower in its own
yeah.
right. But
and weapons. They have like nice weapons.
yeah, they can turn into
swords.
robots. It's cool. My question for you guys is, do you think that matters, that they're trying to do something completely different with the origin story? I personally don't care because the original series was just taking that Japanese footage and like trying to build a narrative around it, and it was super weird. Yeah, do you guys think that it matters?
We were discussing this morning. You said that like you can even compare this to comic books because they're very similar. But like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in comic books that when you adapt it to the movies, you improve upon it. You make it better because like they don't always nail it when they
Yeah.
when they go to the original source material. Like with this, you're very right. They steal it's stolen footage that they tried to repurpose into a TV show. Let's have a little fun. Let's make this like an
Oh,
original
fun.
property.
The changes they're making are just so that they can tell a movie at the level that we're like used to right now, which is like not just darker, but also like there's more of a threat to people's actual lives. Like you might actually die in movies these
Yeah.
days. Back then, I don't know if you guys remember, like all of those shows had the same thing where it's like sparks would appear like near someone's feet and they'd go like, oh, and then they would have like smoke now on their, or like burns on their costume, and it's like that's about the level of damage, and it's
Yeah.
like realistically these things are gonna fight monsters and putties maybe. They need to be a little bit more powered. I'm fine with it.
It's like aliens, right? They're fighting aliens probably. Like Rita seems like one.
Yeah, well, oh my God, we got to see a little bit of Rita, and she looks cool, and she's like, I've killed Rangers
She's like
before.
a space demon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's fucking awesome.
She looks like the person's having like a night terror, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they like
Yeah.
asleep and she's just like on their
She,
chest?
like,
or
Grabs them
whatever?
and like
possesses them,
pushes them
yeah.
against the wall and stuff.
Seems cool. Still, I'm hoping that it gets some of that sweet, sweet Elizabeth Banks comedy, because she's so funny.
I think you would.
I think, yeah, why would they hire a comedic actress if
Well,
there's not going
and
to be
Bill
some
Hader's in
element?
it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's the robot, yeah. And Bryan Cranston's in it too. This movie is
It's
It's gonna
weirdly
be
Well cast.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. I'm still definitely gonna see it. I'm just hoping that they don't get too gritty, because I'm frankly pretty burnt out on grittiness in my movies for right now. Up the comedy a little bit, please.
I feel like I get what you're saying, but I almost want like there's almost a video to be had in like a defense of grittiness, because it doesn't mean that they can't do like non-gritty or whatever. It's just there's so much not gritty that it really does stand out. Like it's kind of like when you go like overdo and you go goth for a little while in high school. It's like, okay, maybe you went a little too far, but it also is like, you know, most Marvel movies are not gritty at all, I would say, and they make up a large portion of a large portion of the superhero stuff that we see. And it's like, okay, so there being like a gritty one that pops up every once in a while, I kind of feel a little bit like I appreciate that every once in a while we get one of those. I know it's like, yeah, every remake is just the gritty remake, but at the same time, the reason that they did that is because the Nolan movies worked so well that I would be really disappointed if no one tries to do something that feels really grounded and there's damage and hurt.
Grounded's hard though, especially when you come to Power Rangers though. Like it's
Yeah.
again, like you said, it's Power Rangers, and when it's not knocking it because it wasn't that big in my childhood. Like I loved the first movie, and I know that doesn't really do justice to like the rest of the TV shows, but that movie is really special to me. But I've never taken it seriously. This cool, gritty take on it could be fun. It just and it feels original.
Right. The real question is, and we actually, I might be on the wrong side of it, is what do you want out of it? And it's like, do you want a movie that like feels like intense and like there's great fights and stuff, or do you want the kind of thing you liked about Power Rangers when you were a kid? And it's like
Very different things.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
very
and
different.
I can't decide that for you guys. But I actually wasn't begging for a new Power Rangers movie.
No.
So if you are gonna do one, then yeah, F it. Do something that's actually gonna feel like it's high stakes. and make it gritty if you want. But I'm open. I'm actually not so certain they nailed it in this. By the way, after all that,
Yeah.
it might still be crap.
Yeah.
No,
who knows?
there's a definitely there's a big percentage of chance that this will not work out.
This is all poop.
This is shit. This is shit. But I'm going to stay.
Optimistic.
Thank you, Whitney. I'm excited. But any final thoughts on Power Rangers?
Love them. Still, I mean, I'm just love them. I'm still hoping that we get some comedy. I have a hard disagree with my friend Philip about grittiness in movies. Love ya, respect your opinion. Disagree
I
completely.
wish you spat at him at the end of that.
I think you're a piece of shit. That's it. Yeah, I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about this new trailer and what this movie thinks it's gonna be. Like, what is it trying to be? Who knows?
It's got a lot going for it right now.
I'll say
Yeah.
if it's dark, I still want it to have the comedy in it too.
Yeah.
But so maybe we can meet in the middle there. But
right.
you're still gonna spit on me later.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
But that's it from us. Answer our questions down below. What was your question?
My question is,
Power
do
Rangers.
you care? Do you care about them changing up their origin story and having superpowers now, essentially?
Ooh, Philip, your question?
I'm wondering if you guys think Iron Fist is going to do something brand new to the MCU. You can take their answer and say fantasy stuff.
Dragons.
Or, Or is there anything else going to feel like real original there?
And my question was about the Defenders. Who do you think Sigourney Weaver is going to play? But answer those in the comments down below, or tweet at us at female at tweet anymore at Sam Basher. But be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. And make sure, like those little Twitter plugs we just did, keep an eye on our accounts because there's going to be some awesome Halloween content announcements about stuff that's coming up this week and the following weeks.
So
and
exciting.
it's going to be so freaking cool. But I'm Sam,
Philip.
Whitney.
and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Power Rangers. Form of SourceFedNERD. I wish I was a robot. Welcome back to SourceFedNERD. I'm that Sam boy and that's that Wick girl. We got some real hella sick, tight, nasty nerd news for you today, kids. So strap in and let's get into it.